What's up, everyone? It is the Tesla Beat number 105, and we are actually just 2 weeks from the X takeover. Shout out to our friends, the people that are coming from all over the world. We are super excited. Quick note, as always, shout out to Insta360 for sponsoring this episode. Super excited to be using your cameras. I know both Joe and Brian, I think you guys are equipped now with Insta360, huh? And
So I've had my Insta360 for years, and I just got the 4, and this thing is a beast. It is incredible. The gold standard, really, for action cameras, as far as I'm concerned.
Action.
Well, we actually have 2 guests this week. One is actually a local, technically both of them are local friends here out of the Bay Area. But one of them also has a very unique background in the fact that they actually got one of the first drives, or the first drive, in a Roadster, and he covers all things AI. I mean, you want to follow and learn anything technology, he's the guy to follow. Robert, what's going on, buddy?
It's a good morning. You guys got me out of bed early.
Thank you for your time. And then we also, our second guest is actually one of the OGs of the Tesla Beat, and probably the smartest people I know in the Tesla sphere, and probably just on anything in general. We have Amy. How's it going?
Hi, nice to see you again.
The question is always, it's kind of like, where's Waldo, but where's Amy at this point?
I am in San Francisco, but I fly to Tahiti this afternoon.
Okay, well, very, very cool. Thank you guys both for joining us today, and we're so excited. Lots always happening in the Tesla world, so let's just jump into it. So stock is at 308. It's down about 20% year to date. But again, for those that are looking long term, this is nothing burger. But also to a lot happening still in the Elon world is he's going to be what is starting America's Party. So I think that's kind of causing some of the churn here. But all right, I'll throw this one to Joe. Show me the numbers, Joe.
Yeah, these numbers are soft, so whack. No, I'm just kidding. So this is actually one time that the market actually got it right. They were like right on par with this. Whisper numbers were about 385, so this was pretty on par with that. A lot of people want to talk about the individual numbers for S and X and Cybertruck, but the truth of the matter is, like, Tesla's making hundreds of thousands of vehicles while everybody else is making tens of thousands. So it doesn't really matter.
I would add to that with how soft the SX and Cybertruck were, they still outsold Rivian for that category. And Lucid and GM had fantastic sales, a couple tens of thousands maybe. So it's really ridiculous to get two bent out of shape.
Who's going to need cars anyway in the future, Brian?
Well, a lot of people really are going to cling to it. It might take a whole generation to shift to the robotaxi mindset. I know we've talked about it. I know Robert and I talked about it the other night. He's saying that the people who've had an opportunity to experience driverless taxis of any brand say, I just can't wait, man. Why would I buy another car?
Yeah, that's what I've been interviewing Waymo customers in San Francisco, and they over and over are telling me, I'll never drive again, I'll never buy a car again, and I'll never take an Uber again. And you're seeing that show up in the stats in San Francisco and the streets. The streets are changing and getting much more dense with autonomous cars. It's a new world we're heading into.
Yeah, I think one thing on the delivery numbers, I mean, that's robotaxi is going to be insane because they're expanding in Austin and then hopefully coming here to the Bay. I mean, we're here in the Bay Area, like literally looking at Austin like the better place to be right now. But specifically the delivery numbers, Brian, you were calling it out, is that I think people realize, I think Tesla's down 13-14% year over year. But Rivian and Ford EVs are down even further at 22 and maybe even 30%. So this is not just an EV issue, but Tesla is doing 10x, 20x, whatever the multiplier is of volume. So the fact that they're down only that amount when there's an overall electric vehicle issue. But again, this quarter with the EV tax credit ending, there's going to be a lot of pull forward demand, and this quarter I think is just going to be bonkers. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, John, here in Silicon Valley, I drive the freeway a lot, and I'm seeing a lot of new Teslas. I don't see a lot of other new EVs. I do see a lot of people buying hybrids and other cars. And that's the real competition, is how do we get more people into the electric vehicle tent,
Yeah, we're at that transition period where people are buying the VCR with the DVD player attached to it. So this is good. This is like it's really wild, because that EVs are better, but people are gonna hybrid their way through. So you're gonna see, like, there's gonna be a couple of years where the hybrids are gonna still be in the know.
I think that the robotaxi is going to be a way to get people into EVs. When they realize that the robotaxi is the only autonomous vehicle out there right now that they can buy, because what's running in Austin right now is just the Model Y. And like for me, when it comes to San Francisco, if I get an invite, I'm going to bring a different friend with me every single time. And I guarantee you within a month, many of those people will have bought Teslas after that experience of riding in the robotaxi. And I'm in the camp that I will keep a car because I have two very large dogs. I like to bring them to the beach to get sandy, and I don't want to do that in a robotaxi. So, but it will be a Tesla, and it will drive itself, and it will drive us to the beach and back.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I think Robert, you were calling it out earlier. It's just, I mean, the cities are going to be changing drastically, right? Parking is not going to be, as big of an issue going forward. And if Tesla is able to get the rate per ride down, like at $4.20, again, it depends on how they expand it, how much they charge, what the cost of mile is. Obviously, we know when they scale, it'll be a lot cheaper. But even if they keep it at half the price of a Waymo, it's just going to be.
I don't believe that it's going to be half the price. I mean, the value of a robotaxi and the Tesla experience is going to be better than a Waymo, at least until they figure out how to get new vehicles on the market. Is going to be better in a Tesla. So there's no reason for Elon to underprice Waymo by that much. In fact, Waymo is overpricing Uber, right? So you take an Uber ride to the airport, you pay $60. On a Waymo, you're going to be paying 80 to 100, right?
And people are still preferring it over Uber.
Yeah, it's a way better experience than Uber. So there's no reason to really underprice Uber for a while. If we're talking 10 years from now, you're going to see a price war. But up front, there's no reason to do such a low price. Other than right now, it's a beta test, right? We all know this. This is not the robo-taxi that's going to arrive. When it's in 5 American cities and 2 or 3 Chinese ones, then we'll say robo-taxi's here, right?
I'd say robotaxi's here now. It's running in Austin. It's running with factory produced cars. They've done a little bit of fitting of the model just to the Austin area, but it's basically the same software that we're driving right now. They've already talked about expanding Austin out and SF in a couple of months, and they've applied in Arizona. So I don't know what else you need to see to say that robotaxi is here. Tesla prioritizing safety doesn't negate the software. They have an app, they have a payment system, they can do the ride hail, they can pick everybody up. The robotaxi is here. The rest of the market hasn't caught on to it. And I would actually anticipate them undercutting Uber, because that's how you get the maximum attention and buzz, and you make that transition, because you need to get over some people's hesitation about getting into a driverless vehicle. If it is cheaper, then that will be something where people are like, yeah, if it's $4.20 for a ride, I'm going to go and do that. And plus it gets in the young people that are most likely to go with a disruptive product because it's fun, it's hip, it's a joke. So I think that we can't undersell what Tesla has done here. The reason, but I do agree it's a beta launch. I think Robert nailed that. And I think that's because Tesla has, well, they've had the FSD software before. Everything else with the robotaxi is new. It's a new app for Tesla. It's a new payment system. It's a new pickup. They have a monitoring system on the car. And they're testing and iterating and optimizing all of those pieces of it. They're all in place. So you can call it a finished product. The fact that they're optimizing the product doesn't mean it's not done. Many software companies we've seen release and then continue to push out new versions as they optimize.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, what's crazy here is I just showed the delivery numbers of 384,000, and as of last week, I think it had like a 5% pop or something the next day. But the reality is, what are we sitting here talking to you about? It's about the robotaxi. It's about the experience, because ultimately, this is why I bought the car, and I bought the car first, and then I bought some stock after, and then obviously during that whole time that we were starting this organization as well. But it's one of those things. It's like, this is what I saw back in 2018, and some of you like Amy and Robert, who are just OGs, and even you, Joe. But just you guys saw this stuff even back then. I saw it in 2018, and I knew that, okay, this is the Amazon bookstore kind of start, and then this is at some point they're going to have this moment where they're just doing everything.
Oops.
Uh-oh, he's freezing.
John, you froze.
Well, I will add real quick. I was at a picnic last night for the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. We had Tesla Club out there. We had Rivian Club out there. And there were a lot of questions for me about FSD and autonomy. And what I was, all I had to tell people was, look, I just drove 56 miles to get here through rush hour traffic, through downtown Portland. The traffic is a mess. The roads are a mess. And there were zero interventions. The car just handled it. Even the really ugly dipping in and out of lanes when it gets real narrow, the car just handled it. And I'm on the version that, 13. This is last year's technology. 14 or whatever the next build we get is going to be big. It's going to be huge. It's going to be smoother and better than what we've got now. And it's going to include a lot of the little things we wanted to have, like specifying specifying my actual destination with a pinpoint rather than just thinking that I live in the alley, which I hope isn't its way of predicting the future. People don't know. And so I just keep getting butts in seats and hoping that's enough.
Yeah, and I think that's a real role of the robotaxi. As it does expand, it gets more people aware that Teslas can drive themselves. Right. And there's a lot of people interested in that here in Silicon Valley. A lot of people, my wife has to drive an hour to work every day, right? That's why we got her FSD. She lets it self-drive her to work, and it makes her life a lot better. I'm about to go to San Francisco today to see another AI company, and it drives the whole way. That's an hour and a half drive, and a lot of times in stop and go traffic, and it sure makes life a lot better. And if the take-up rate goes up because people are more aware of FSD and what it can do to people, I think that helps the Tesla cause as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So I'm back.
Sorry about that.
Welcome back, John. Did you want to expand on what you were saying real quick before we move on?
Yeah, I would say that Alexandra said this many times, and I completely agree with her. Delivery numbers will be a thing of the past because Tesla will take some of the production right off the top and put it into the robotaxi network. And any month that they would consider number soft, they'll just put more cars into the robotaxi network and accelerate opening another city. Because that is what the big differentiator between what Tesla has done and what Waymo has done. Waymo, I would consider to be kind of call it FSD on rails. They high def map these cities. It's a rules based software. They're still trying to kind of code for edge cases. and passing that on top. What Tesla has done is a robust, generalized AI solution, and Tesla's solution is going to scale the exact same way as any LLM scales. So it's going to scale based on better and more data, more compute. Tesla having the Cortex training center online and having this world-class team. And then they're going to do other things like increase the context window, how long the car is considering in its decision making, and the parameter count on the model. And so Tesla has this really robust solution where you already see it rolled out in 5 regions with FSD supervised. And I think that robotaxi, once it gets going, and Elon Musk has indicated this, is going to roll out very fast once they've optimized.
Yeah, well, you're looking at a situation where the competition, even though Waymo is doing great, like, well, quote unquote great, right? But you look at their vehicles, how many they have on the road, and it's like less than 2,000 vehicles. And you know that, I mean, Tesla's going to eclipse that like in no time flat. Like I drove to LA and back in 24 hours, and my Cybertruck drove the whole thing. Like it's just wild to think that this is going to be like anything other than what it's going to be, and it's just going to be a domination. And it's wild that people don't see it, but like we've always, like John was saying earlier, you know, retail investors, we see things differently than other people. Like we notice these things, and it's like, how come people don't see this? Like, how do you not see this? But they don't see it. We see it, and that's all that matters.
I interviewed the CEO the day that Steve Jobs announced the iPhone. He didn't see it coming either. So, right? It's not who's first in this industry. It's who has the best price and who has the best experience and who can pick you up faster, which is a better experience. And there's 13 Teslas on my street. If even 5% of the people on my street put a Tesla in the network, one's going to be at my house in a minute, right? That's something that Waymo is going to have a tough time matching because they just don't have the cars on the street that Tesla does.
Robert, that is an excellent point, and I think that I give a lot of credit to Waymo for being first. What they've done is a lot of regulatory and governmental heavy lifting that Tesla is going to get to benefit from, and I'm really thankful that they did that. I'm thankful that they've gotten over, for some people, the idea of getting in an autonomous car. That's important. But Robert hit on a really key point, and that's that Tesla's infrastructure is a vastly different than Waymo's. Tesla has service centers almost worldwide. They just are opening the India showroom coming up here. Tesla has staff worldwide. They have superchargers worldwide, and they can produce 2,000 cars, more than 2,000 cars a day in their factory. Waymo does have more than 2,000 cars. They have another 2,000 cars sitting on a lot in Arizona, and they have a factory they're going to try and ramp and scale to try and do that retrofit of those Jaguar I-Paces. They bought a bunch before the production stopped on it, but that's still even 4,000 cars. That's still what Tesla can do within a couple of days of production. So Robert was really insightful there.
Yeah. You brought up a point earlier, Amy, that you still will want to own a car for the reasons. And a lot of customers are like that, right? If you have baby seats in the car, if you have tools in a truck, right? You don't want to put that in the network and have it drive other people around because you need it on your work site or whatnot. But even those people, when they go to Las Vegas on vacation or somewhere, they're going to want to take a ride. And, do you take a taxi, an Uber, or a Tesla someday? I think Tesla's going to win a lot of that. And the fact that there is a robotaxi network is going to prove to everybody it is self-driving. You're going to soon see them in your street driving around without a human in it. That's going to tell you, oh, that car is different than all the others, right? And maybe the next time I buy a car, I'm going to buy a Tesla. So it's good long-term. I'm in for 10 years. All this politics and malaise and, fear of EV that Americans and other people have, will start going away over the next few years, right?
Yeah, we'd love to gravitate slowly. Like I like to tell people that you're looking at a situation where, like like I got like the scenario I was given earlier with the VHS and the DVD, right? Like Waymo has a good solution. It's great as a VCR, but Tesla has the Blu-ray DVDs, so it is what it is.
And we haven't even talked about Grok that's coming in a week.
Yeah.
To our Teslas, which we have to translate in a week to Elon. That's Elon time. It might be 3 months. It might be Christmas. But sometime soon we're getting Grok integrated in the car, and that's going to make our cars a lot smarter. I mean, you see with Grok being able to talk with voice now, it's getting really, really good. It's a world-class model. When it does get integrated in the car is going to be able to do a lot more. And certainly by the end of the year, they still haven't turned on the really good multimodal part of the model. And that's going to be important in a vehicle because you're going to want to talk to Grok. Hey, what's that museum over there? What's in there? Or what's that historical landmark? Or, find me an In-N-Out, that kind of thing. That's going to require understanding the world that your robot, because you're in a robot, is how it sees the world around it, right?
Yeah, it's limitless possibilities. It's crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot to come. This is the AI world, right? If you're ahead of me, John, in your Cybertruck on the freeway, and you see a wreck, or you see a car on fire, or you see a closed lane, or something like that, why isn't it reporting to my car, to get out of the lane, go to the other lane, because that'll be a faster way to get to work, or get off the freeway altogether because it's completely stopped, right? Our Teslas are already behaving like that a little bit, but when you put a smart model in the car reporting to God up in the sky what's going on the street, I think we're going to start seeing new things that are capable with our robotaxi network or robot networks, right? Because we're all in a robot network.
What people are sleeping on, and they continue to sleep on, is and it's insane. I didn't think about it, Amy. I mean, obviously I thought about it. I understand what you're saying, but it didn't click until you're Tesla can scale a Uber, really a whole car service just for the robotaxis because of their sales and service centers and the people that they have access to. But the other thing that people are definitely sleeping on is Grok and the integration that it has. We interviewed Brad's, I believe, the third patient of Neuralink a couple weeks back, and all of the words we were speaking were being filtered through Grok. So Neuralink is already using it, and so now now it's already because of Neuralink, it's already dealing with inputs as an assistant, and obviously we know the app is doing that as well. You can have a whole voice and even video conversation. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Not only the hardware, but the software and the AI models. Tesla has it all, along with Elon's companies. There's literally the sky is really just the limit. I mean, and it's really almost like humans are going to be the limit of what is going to be possible, or at least what Elon's going to tackle. It's just really mind-blowing.
Yeah, no, it's crazy times. Next slide.
All right, so this was Brian. You want to break this?
Sure. Well, so Tesla's it's official. They had a big event, and Tesla will be sold in India. Now, we don't have word on any factory developments, but what we've heard is that vehicle sales begin August. There is a tax reprieve that reduces the 130% import tariff for companies that do spend, I think, $500 million on a factory there. Maybe that will happen to offset the taxes on these, but the tax abatement is very limited. It's only 10,000 units per year for a maximum of, I think, 4 or 5 years. That's, days of production. So I think this would just be used to bring in SX and maybe Cybertruck, but of course they'll sell whatever they can, and it's a large market. We were talking the pre-show, 868,000 millionaires in India. Decent decent. People rightly point out the middle class is not huge, and that's true. But any number time, multiplied by the population, 1.3-ish billion people, comes out to be kind of a lot. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, no, this is great, because when you look at the production numbers and then you look at the markets that Tesla's not even in yet, you start to realize that, like Amy was saying, this is so irrelevant, because they have these levers that they can pull at any time, and we're seeing that now. Like, we're looking at production numbers that are gonna just increase by any number once they start making vehicles for India. And so it's like, man, what a time.
I can just imagine seeing a Cybertruck rolling around in a bunch of scooters and smaller vehicles, because India has a quite different kind of road system than we have in America. And this is an important long-term thing. Again, it's not about tomorrow, but getting cars on the road in Mumbai and Delhi and Bangalore is going to be real important to get the data to bring autonomous to India as well. And robotaxi eventually will be very big in India as well, because they do have so many people.
And the one thing that's really interesting. Oh, sorry, Amy, were you going to chat?
No, go ahead.
Go for it. Okay. Yeah. What's crazy about? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Amy.
I would say that India has been one of my most desired markets for Tesla to get into for years. India has started and stopped many times in the past, where they've gotten very close and then they just haven't been able to get over the line because of India's heavy tariffs and the need for Tesla not only to build a gigafactory in India, but some of their suppliers are there, some of them aren't. So you not only might you need a gigafactory, you need all of your suppliers spending 50 to 250 million to put in factories next to your factory. So once again, we're seeing what Tesla did in China, and what's unique that Tesla doesn't get a lot of credit for is this ability to sway governments to relax their regulations, because they think that the power of having Tesla there is going to be so good for their economy. And that's exactly how it worked out for China. China brought Tesla in under the promise that Tesla would develop the supply chain for EVs and develop a skilled working force. Now China leads the world in EV exports. And so now India is giving Tesla a special deal. The India media is hopeful that they're going to get a Model 3 and Model Y. I've seen many reports in the India media reporting on the new showroom opening, and they all lead with the American price point of the Model 3 and the Model Y. And I think the difference now of why India now, after so many times trying to get this deal done in the past, is the new lower cost vehicles are going to be produced on the same lines that will hit that lower price point. But certainly Tesla has done the aspirational buy and the kind of halo effect that this is this beautiful Model S, this is this beautiful Model X, and they bring that out first, and then it creates a luxury brand appeal for people, and then they offer the cheaper and less expensive products. So we don't know which products they're going to announce yet. Most likely they're going to be coming from Shanghai, Giga Shanghai, which is those countries have not always had the best trade relationship. So again, that would be the magic of Tesla if Giga Shanghai is supplying India.
Yeah, I know. Back in the day, even Rohan and a lot of the meetings that Elon was making with the India leaders, just we've been waiting for this moment, and then there was always that speculation to some of the trade. I think Jeff was calling out the trade work that could be done through Korea because of some of those benefits and stuff. But either way, it's a super exciting time. I'm excited because I know that the way Tesla's tackling full self-driving, that even if the roads are different in India, the fact is that I can be on roads that are not even defined, and you type in a spot, it can still do it. Again, India is a lot different, but I'm just saying the way that they're tackling it will allow them to be able to navigate through that. For whatever it's in front of it, it'll just plug in the coordinates and it's going to find a location. So because as we've all seen, the robotaxi is here. This is not a thought. This is not a, hey, hopefully it happens in the next 5 years. It's here. And really the only other competitor is that competitor that's literally on the road with vehicles right now is Waymo. And so they'll be able to scale way past that, right?
Right. There's a Silicon Valley tie with India. There's a lot of Indians who live here in Silicon Valley. There's a lot of people who travel back and forth between India and here. And a lot of those people have Teslas when they're living here in Silicon Valley. And they're going to want a Tesla back home because they know the advantages of owning an electric vehicle and certainly owning a Tesla. And there's a lot of wealth in places like Mumbai and Bangalore and Delhi. There's a lot of poverty as well. So robotaxi someday will help those people get around. I interviewed housewives in slums in South Africa and India, and they all told me how deeply Uber has changed their lives because all of a sudden they could get to jobs and improve their lot in life. But there's an untapped market there. I think that's what we're all excited about. We all know that Tesla's going to do real well in India.
Yeah, 100%.
And that just brings up another point of people are doing this distracted CEO myth. But if you look at what Tesla is actually accomplishing in these last few months, they're knocking it out of the park. They have an LFP battery factory that just supplies us all. And they have the refinery that's going. They have the Megapack factory in Shanghai is now online and ramping up. And you have a new Megapack factory being built. So they have new products, robotaxi launch, and now new regions. They just opened up in the Middle East, and now they're opening up in India. So it's every single division of Tesla is executing with an intensity that I haven't seen since maybe like the Model 3 ramp, where you just have everybody just really feeling that they need to get this done. And it's really inspiring to see. And there's no way that's happening without Elon Musk being there, knocking the obstacles out of the team's way, helping them solve the deep problems. And the engineers are still and have always been talking to Elon Musk on these check-ins and whenever they need him.
And they need to execute perfectly because China's coming. And China has several car companies that are shipping hot products, very innovative products for a very low price, very good quality products, and they're taking over markets. And so we're at an economic war with the Chinese. We need Tesla to execute perfecly from here.
Robert, what do you think about demand for those Chinese vehicles when it becomes clear that Teslas are robotaxis already, and the Chinese is like Tesla 10 years ago, promising that they're going to get there, but not there yet?
The Chinese will get there pretty quick. The AI community in China is kicking our ass in a lot of ways. So don't assume that China is not going to get there. This is going to be the competition really that'll play out over the next decade. And we, as Tesla investors and interested people, we should be watching what's going on in China. Their product is really good. And we're winning a good number of sales in Shanghai. We're doing pretty good lately, right? And we're selling tens of thousands of cars per week lately, which is pretty good. But, there is a major competitor from multiple different companies in China, and they can make vehicles cheaper, and that's going to be a problem for us in the future. So it's something to be aware of and not be too rah America wins, because we're in an economic war.
Well, more than that is the energy in China that we just don't have the energy production they do. I'm not actually worried about China that much for the EVs for a while, because most of those companies are still using a Waymo style suite of sensors. Tesla's just going to beat them on cost structure. So maybe they're producing the cars inexpensively, but Tesla has already paid for the worldwide infrastructure with the superchargers and the service centers and everything else. And Tesla's even doing big box stores, repurposing them. And so
I met the vice president of Zeekr, who makes the Waymo, the next generation Waymo. they're putting the LiDARs on that vehicle, but he's a believer in vision only. So don't
It's rewriting the
underestimate
whole
things.
software stack. They're basically starting from the point where Tesla pivoted to end-to-end neural nets, but without all the ability to auto-label the video data that Tesla had. So when Tesla pivoted to end-to-end neural nets, their systems could already label the video data. The systems could already do a lot in simulation. We saw them Tesla ramp up China just with video, not even for publicly available on YouTube. I think that there's a real difference in the tech of end-to-end vision and the fact that Tesla kind of had a head start because they had millions and millions and millions of miles of data that other companies don't have. And they also have a 70,000 GPU equivalent in Cortex to process it.
So I had a chance to.
I
I just wanted to jump in on the China thing. I had a chance to go there in May for the Shanghai Auto Show. I was there for 2 weeks. Kyle Connor from Out of Spec had gone back in, I think, January, and I interviewed him about that. There are a lot of companies there that are 10 years behind Tesla. There are ones that I wouldn't even say are on the chart because their systems are so bad that it doesn't compete with Tesla's Autopilot 1.0 effectively. But there are companies that are less than a year or two behind Tesla, like the Avatar is one that Kyle had pointed out. It's using Huawei's system. Then you've got the BYD system is pretty good, but there are companies that are absolutely catching up. The question is how scalable their approach is. Is it going to stall out? Is it a dead end? We don't know yet, but they are catching up quick. And even the ones who are still using LiDAR, which at this point is most, the LiDAR has gotten cheap. It's solid state LiDAR. It's a few $100 a car. And their cost savings in other ways offsets that. That's why I think we're going to see a lot more Chinese exports to other countries that don't have a domestic auto manufacturing base to protect. The US, of course, kept Chinese cars out for competitive reasons, but now they're keeping them out for security reasons. Do you really want China having millions of vehicles slathered in cameras and sensors rolling around the country onto your military bases and whatever? China imposes similar restrictions on Tesla. They found a way around that. So it's a competitive market. Don't sleep on China. They are moving very, very quickly.
My guess is that what's going to happen is everybody with LiDAR solutions is going to have to license a neural net and vision solution, at least in the interim, to make up for the fact that they just don't have a very scalable solution. Now, my perspective of this is very different than everybody else's because I fly a 787. It's a very sophisticated auto flight system. It would be very equivalent to Waymo. What it is not is smart. And I know all the edge cases that come up that a programmer could never hard code for with a rules-based scenario. The way you can't actually fully solve FSD without end-to-end neural nets because you're never going to be able to wrap up all of these edge cases with a fast sensor array and without neural nets. And it's people think, well, we'll just throw the neural nets on top of it. But how do you train a model? Now you're talking a multimodal model because you have all these different sensors and you have to train the FSD. What does a LiDAR point cloud look like? You can't train that with videos. You're not training with the same way that a human eye does. So it's a lot more hard to train the model. You've introduced all these sources of error. And I think that you're going to see people, the sooner they pivot, and there is a couple Chinese companies out there that I am tracking because they're working on vision only and end-to-end neural nets. And so they're starting with the right architecture right at the front. They're very innovative, and I think those companies will get there, but that's less than 3. So it's not many people that are doing it. You just simply can't get past where Waymo's at, where they still have cars that get stuck on the road. It's not unsafe. They call us a safety monitor. The safety monitor comes and moves the car. Same way. If your check engine light went on, you just pull the car over to the side of the road. You call a friend. But it's hard to scale that to a massive level around the world without that generalized, robust intelligence.
Well, and I think you just nailed it, Amy. It's so easy. I have a bus. I want it to be a plane. Just slap wings on it. I feel like you might need to go back to the drawing board a little more than that to just add neural nets.
It'll fly the same, Brian.
Totally.
Yeah,
Just
but
a little bit.
something also to think about is Tesla's moving all these units in China at a price point that's like double pretty much what everybody else is, and they're still moving these units. So once you're looking at like what Robert was saying with the Cybercab and stuff coming in, and people just being able to just hail a ride from a Tesla versus having to just buy it out, I think you're like what Amy's pinpointing. You're going to have a huge market. The TAM is just so great that there's room for everybody. So it's not like it's impossible, but this is going to be really good times going forward. There's just no downside for Tesla right now.
You just fill
China
the gap
is
with
the market.
licensing.
China is the market that matters. They have 10 cities bigger than New York, right? You start thinking about that. It's like, oh, that's a huge market that we want to be active in. But they also influence the rest of the world because they ship so many products around the world. So it's something to watch. It's highly competitive. I want to go to Shanghai again and see what's going on the street there, because I keep hearing from people who live there or people who visit there that the world is very different there than even in San Francisco.
Oh, yeah. Well, as we know, a legend goes global. Tom Zhu to oversee global manufacturing. I know for a while he was doing, I believe he was the global head for sales and service. But now, obviously, with the exit of Omid, who was, I believe, helping lead that as well. So he's going to be taking over, and who better than him, right? And I think this is the previous three roles. He was initially GM of general manager of Tesla China, 2014 through 2019, and then the VP of Greater China from 19 to 22, and then the president of China overseeing APAC since July of 2022. So a lot of exciting stuff, and I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think that, that's the thing that people forget. The way that Tesla structures their company, that they motivate everyone. Everyone is in the weeds and making stuff work. It's not like you have a lot of these leaders who are just very, bird's eye view. They're all in the weeds. And so when something happens, people are able to step in, and maybe they're interim, but they're able to keep things moving. So, but obviously Tom has a lot of experience anyway. So this is not necessarily going to be something brand new for him.
Yeah, Tom Zhu was someone that Matthew and I got to talk to at Investor Day. And what was notable is that the entire time we were talking to him, he was checking his phone on the metrics of the Shanghai factory line in Berlin, because he had a race going between who could produce the most vehicles. And then the second one of them won, he stepped away to make a phone call to congratulate him. So he's a really, really good choice for this role. Elon Musk has long said, we saw the China speed with which the Shanghai factory was built, and it has the highest cycle times, lowest cycle times, the cars coming off the line quickly. Elon Musk also says it has the highest quality. So if you have somebody that is good at motivating people, has high quality products coming out of the factory at low times, that is absolutely who you want to put in charge of your global manufacturing. It's a really good move.
Yeah, 100%.
It makes sense to me that somebody from China would be leading manufacturing, because they are the best in the world at it.
And he also ramped Giga Shanghai, what was a swamp, to being built in literally months. Shout out to Chai for being the guy on the bird on the street there, or what is it? The feet on the street. All right. So Joe, I'll pass this one to you.
LFP sales are coming. This is actually pretty big because as we know, there's so many American factories making LFP cells right now. Right, Amy?
Yeah, 0.
For people who don't know what an LFP battery is, why is this technology so important to the future of electric vehicles and robots?
So LFP is just another kind of lithium battery. When you say lithium ion, you could mean LFP. The other ones being like NMC and NCA. The NMC and NCA, nickel, manganese, cobalt, nickel, cobalt, aluminum. Those are high energy density, high drain, very good ones. Except you really don't want to charge them past 80 very often. That's not useful in a commercial application. LFP, lithium iron phosphate, is made of more abundant materials, so it's cheaper to make. It has no conflict minerals of any kind, no nickel, no manganese, no cobalt, and you can charge them to 100%. So while the energy density is a bit lower, you can charge them to 100 every time. They're perfectly happy with that. It doesn't degrade them, and you get more life cycles out of it. So if you were to make, for example, a taxi with these, you could charge it to 100 every day if you wanted. You could get more cycles out of it before degradation occurs. So there's a lot of winning aspects to an LFP cell. Hope this helps.
Yeah, Tesla's strategy was that the Model S and X and Cybertruck are not going to be LFP. You want the high performance on that. The Cybercab and the new lower cost vehicles, those should all be LFP, and the mega packs are LFP. And the mega pack form factor is not going to be like the structural pack in the 4680 that we see in the cars. Though, I mean, you could try and do something that could be interchangeable, but there's so much demand for mega packs, there's really no reason to do that. This initial factory is thought to be simply for the mega packs, to supply those, because that was coming from CATL. So with the Chinese battery supplier, that became a problem with tariffs and everything else. It is CATL machinery in the factory. CATL sold Tesla a line to do this. But it's a really big deal because LFP was under a patent for a very long time. That patent has fallen off. So Tesla is getting in on the lead of manufacturing it in the US, and they have this really good relationship with their supplier that's already excellent at manufacturing LFP batteries and just really, really good at battery tech. BYD is also very good at battery tech. I don't know if a lot of people realize that BYD is vertically integrated. So it's a really big deal to start this. Tesla is working on being able to do their own cathodes, maybe their own anodes, have their own lithium refinery. They have the 4680 lines where they're producing batteries for EVs, and now they're producing their own batteries for mega packs. It's just, they control their own destiny with this vertical integration, and that's just going to be really key going forward.
Yeah, it's really like when you talk to soup to nuts, you literally mean soup to nuts, right? I mean, when I think of what Kimball has done with the kitchen, his restaurants, to what Tosca's doing as well with her with Passion Flicks, and really, again, starting from the beginning to the end. I mean, this is like literally kind of like a Musk, standard at this point, and in everything you're just talking about, and whether it's supply chain to building pretty much almost every aspect of the car, to building the cells. I mean, everything. It's Tesla hasn't always wanted to get into everything, but no one else can do what they're and meet the demand that they need to. So they end up just saying, okay, well, I'm just going to roll up my sleeves and get my hands dirty. So I'm either going to wait for it to happen or be a part of it. So it's just really incredible what they're doing.
Facts.
All right, Joe, to you.
Tesla Semi is getting better every day. I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but over a 3-week period, the Tesla Semi logged 4,494 miles, an average of 321 miles per day, on the efficiency of 1.55 kilowatt per mile. Incredible for freaking almost 8,000 pound freaking. I mean, it's just wild what they're doing. So, anybody want to comment, Brian?
Well, yeah. So that's fully loaded. So somewhere in the 80 to 82,000 pound range, likely. They can run a lot lighter. Well, Frito-Lay potato chips don't weigh anything, right? It's also Pepsi, and I have it on good authority that liquid is quite heavy. This is insane efficiency. What this means is that they could literally cut 2 Model Ys worth of batteries out of the battery pack to not only reduce cost, reduce weight, increase the number of semis they can make with the same batteries. It is, and as we know, the old efficiency that they were touting was a violation of physics. And if they can make it, we'll buy 2 of them for Mercedes, 1 to use and 1 to tear apart. But I'm pretty sure physics works the same in the US as Germany. Come on, ye of little faith. It actually works. So this is amazing. And yeah, it's just another big step forward on a product that was already first in its class. To me, it's the kind of thing like with the Octavalve, the Super Bottle was amazing. It was the best thing that had happened to electric vehicles. A year later, we find out, oh no, they're not using that anymore. They've moved on to the Octavalve. It's vastly better. So they are on a relentless pursuit of perfection.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, Brian's right. The semi that was first used was produced with many off-the-shelf parts. The semi that they're building the factory for is Tesla design parts. So exactly like Brian just said, much, much better already. And Tesla did this in the same way that they roll out new airliners. They chose a couple of launch customers, and they got a lot of information from them, and they optimized and refined the product before they're moving into this really mass production, concentrating on the cost per fleet mile. Fleet operators don't care if the semi looks nice necessarily. They care about the lowest cost per operating mile and dispatch reliability. And that's what Tesla has focused on. That experience of focusing on that in Tesla for the semi is going to be exceptional for them in the robotaxi. We know that from the beginning, they've been designing the cybercab for the lowest cost per operating mile. That's why it's only 2 seats. And the guy, I would call it the bulkhead on an airplane, but the trunk partition is right behind the seats, leaving a very small passenger cab because that's less to heat and less to cool, draws less from the battery, significantly less per cost per operating mile. Tesla is so far ahead by designing kind of for the end game while other people are just trying to get a solution to work. They're doing this with the semi, they're doing this with the cybercab, and they have superior information to do that because they have their own in-house ERP software. So they have accurate data on every single step of the way to be able to pinpoint where they need to be minimizing those costs.
That's an excellent point, Amy. Everybody who missed Amy, go ahead and hit the like button, please.
Yes, please hit the like button for her and for Robert.
I don't know if I've ever actually been in a show with Amy before. I don't think we have. So, I mean, this is very exciting.
We usually talk at events or other places like that and hang out there.
California, sure.
Yeah.
But online?
Well, of course, it's crazy, especially when you get some of, some of these amazing minds together. The hour just flies by. And so we are actually at the top of the hour, and we just want to say thank you for joining this hour. Please give both Amy and Robert a follow. They're tagged on X. They drop some amazing knowledge. In their area of expertise. Robert, all things AI and just really technology, and he's been reporting on this for a while now, and just an expert in the field and knows a lot of people in the space, especially here in the Silicon Valley.
I'm an expert. I'm not an expert.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're the OG, Robert. Brian and Joe and John are all experts too.
Yeah,
My knowledge is very superficial, but not very deep. I know a lot of people who are deep workers, and that's why I'm able to do what I do.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing that. But
Yeah.
yeah, and then give Amy a follow as well. She's just one of the big experts, especially in the Tesla space. If you want to go deep in the weeds, make sure you give her a follow. And similarly with Brian as well, his channel FutureAza. And then of course, because of Joe's name, FOMO Joe. Why is there FOMO? It's because the X takeover is coming up. July 25th and 26th, an 800 drone light show and Tesla car light show will be happening on July 25th. And then the 26th is going to be in San Mateo County Event Center with the likes of Lars Morovi, Steve Jurvensen, and a bunch of amazing Tesla speakers as well, experts in the space. So we would love to see you there. Go to xtakeover.com and hopefully we will see you there. But thank you again for everyone joining. Thank you for Amy and Robert joining and filling in this week. And we will see you guys all next week. Have a great week, everyone.